Psalm 108 is very interesting because it's actually a repetition of two previous Psalms, Psalm 57 and Psalm 60. Now, we know the occasion of those two Psalms. We can go back and turn to them, but we don't know the occasion necessarily of when this Psalm was put together, other than it must have been likely the work of the editor. So this would have been following the exile when books 4 and 5 were put together. Together, what the editor has done is taken these two psalms that are really laments, and he has taken out the trust elements of those psalms and put them together into this new psalm, Psalm 108. Psalm 57 is David's prayer when he was in the cave with Saul, and so he's lamenting, but then it turns into praise and trust at the end of it. Psalm 60 is a prayer that comes out of a national lament. The nation has received a surprise attack from neighboring nations and turns to God in prayer. But this is the trust and confidence element of that prayer. So you take these two together, Psalm 57, an individual song of trust, and Psalm 60, a communal psalm of trust, and you have the continuation of the theme that we set up in Psalm 107. That is, hallelujah. Yahweh saves, whether it's the individual or whether it is the nation. God saves. And as I mentioned, verses 1 through 5 are identical to Psalm 57, 7 through 11. So you can go back to that psalm and look at specific comments that I've made on that one. I'm not going to do that again at this point, but the editor clearly was drawing from this psalm, putting that together. I titled this psalm International because it does have this international flavor in verse 5. Be exalted, O God, above the heavens. Let your glory be over all the earth. And the rest of the psalm will describe some of the nations around Israel. Likewise, the second half of the psalm is identical to Psalm 60, verses 5 through 12. There's a slight difference in verse 5, where the communal nature of Psalm 60 is transformed to the individual nature of Psalm 108. So the us is changed to a me, but that's about it. And as we can see, the geographical nature of the psalm is highlighted here. What we said in Psalm 60 is that this psalm is a declaration of God's sovereign reign over the nations. And this was done by casting the shoe on a nation. So it's symbolically saying, if you throw your shoe on something, that's mine. I step on it. I walk on it. It's under my feet. And so that's the symbolic act that's taking place, that God is declaring the nations are mine. So, hallelujah, Yahweh saves. He saves me when I'm alone and I'm running from my enemies and I'm in a cave in a dark place. And he saves me when our nation is facing a crisis. God is with us. God is sovereign. And that's some good news. Hallelujah. God saves.